Oh yeah, you know what time it is. It's time to roll on out of bed, get a good stretch, get some cereal in your system, sit down and see the latest in the Logan Paul CryptoZoo scam situation. I don't think there's any need for a Dragon Ball Z recap of what's happened up till this point. I think we all know, but I'll give you the briefest rundown. YouTuber CoffeeZilla exposed Logan Paul for a massive crypto scam he was running, telling the story of many victims who lost tons and tons of money on it. A lot of information came out about exactly how horrible this situation was. Logan Paul hiring literal criminals to run it with him who stole $7.7 million. And after CoffeeZilla released this series of investigative videos, Logan Paul responded with threats against CoffeeZilla, talking about taking him to court. He then made a podcast episode doubling down on everything he was saying. He never defended himself. He didn't attack any of the claims. He didn't provide any evidence to prove that he's innocent. He just kind of kicked in the door, walked up like the Undertaker. He's like, CoffeeZilla, he's a sham. He's a little man. And just like a little man does, he does little man things. And I'm a big boy. I'm Logan Paul. So fuck that guy. And that's it. Like, that's his whole thing. He just kept attacking CoffeeZilla's character without ever even addressing the evidence that he provided. So obviously the first two responses didn't go over well with anyone at all. Not a single soul on this planet. So after that happened, he released a third apology video where the attitude was very different. He was singing a completely different tune. He backpedaled on everything he said about CoffeeZilla, even thanked him for the investigation, said he's dropping the lawsuit, which is probably the smartest thing he's ever decided to do because his face would have been used as toilet paper to wipe everyone's ass in court if he actually went through with that defamation case idea. But anyway, after the apology video was posted by Logan, CoffeeZilla responded to it last night, going over some of the things that he talked about that are good, that are actually helping some victims that were affected by the scam, but also some things that really fell flat. So I think it's a very interesting breakdown, and I think it's a very fitting conclusion, and I still hope that more is done to help the victims of his massive scam, but this is definitely a step in the right direction. The gift that just keeps on giving. So this is the follow-up to everything. Logan Paul made his big statement talking about like that $1.3 million. Well, you know what? I'm sure CoffeeZilla will cover all of it here.
Well, it's finally over. Logan Paul apologized.
CoffeeZilla, you're slimy.
And we all forgave
He is
him.
a lopsided journalist with an...
Turns out it's actually on his secondary channel. That's why I couldn't find it. It's entitled, Thank You, CoffeeZilla. It's the third response from Logan Paul.
I love this intro. CoffeeZilla's coming out here with the fangs out. He's got his claws drawn. Yeah, I mean, third time's the charm, though, for Logan. He really nailed it on this one. He's a saint again, back in our good graces. I bought 5 bottles of Prime just to celebrate. He's a new man.
CoffeeZilla is not a criminal.
Oh, that's a relief. I thought Logan was going to hire me. But in all seriousness, this video does have some major admissions in it I want to go through. For
banger.
one, Logan
Actual
apologizes
banger.
to me.
I called him. I apologized. My initial response to his series was that of fire and ego.
Not only that, Logan also pledges a $1.3 million refund plan for people who bought his NFTs. In addition to that, he also promises to finish CryptoZoo, which was left abandoned.
And then
He should just hire that YouTuber that did it in 4 hours. Call it a day, just... I paid this YouTuber an exposure to finish my crypto scam for me so I can continue to make more money off of this.
For example, I think if you were an outsider who is not affected by this scam and you wanted a reason to love Logan Paul again, I think this nails it. I mean...
That was one of the main things I said when he posted that. If you weren't affected by the scam, you don't know anyone that was affected by the scam, him posting this makes it very easy for you to be a fan again, kind of guilt-free. Like, oh, okay, so some people got scammed, but look at how well he handled himself in this third apology video. So we can just move on past this. I'm not offended anymore, so I don't care if you guys are. I've forgiven him for you guys, so we're good.
Flat, because he doesn't adequately address the real victims of CryptoZoo, which I think they're rightfully angry about. And I wanted to spend some time talking about that because, again, they've been the heartbeat of this whole story, and they feel very differently about this response than Logan's core audience does.
Yeah,
they don't feel
that
like
sounds about right.
And I want to talk about why. Starting with the $1.3 million repayment plan. It doesn't even apply to the holder of Zoo coins at all. You get nothing if you bought this in-game currency. this refund only applies to current egg holders. So they
wait,
can
what?
cash out that NFT for the initial mint price in crypto, which matters sort of because crypto has
didn't know
crashed
that.
a lot. So even though people
Just to slide on in between your butt cheeks here, I'd like to further clarify on the repayment plan. It is good that there is something that victims can tap into to get some money back, but it's not all of it. It's not every victim, and it's actually only in specific cases for people that were affected by this. So with this $1.3 million repayment plan, it covers some losses for some people, but not all of it. And since crypto has crashed, the value of all of it's very different now. So people aren't going to be made whole, but at least it's something going back to some of the victims, which rarely happens in cases like this where a giant scam comes crumbling down. 9 times out of 10, it just results in the scammer being like, you entered the poop zone, you should have expected to get a little shitty. You know, and they just move on and just never talk about it again. So at least there is something coming back, but of course, it's not all of it.
the Zoo coins were most of this scam. I mean, that's where most of the money was spent. It wasn't just on the NFTs. It was on this in-game currency, which Logan seems to have no intention of refunding. And his response for why is pretty bad. He responds to somebody who lost $80,000 who told him, I hope this isn't just doing what you have to do technically to not get sued.
Oh, goodness gracious. Jinkies. 80K in zoo shitties? Oh, Ruben. Oh, that is painful. Oh, goodness.
Logan replies with a screenshot of his white paper and later explains to
Wait, hold on. Let me read that. Replying with just a picture from your terms of service or whatever is always just such a douchey thing. Because Zoo was created to support CryptoZoo and was not intended to be an investment vehicle, the contract doesn't include incentives for liquidity providing, although the largest, and then cuts off. Okay, so it's just, eat shit, loser. Should have read.
paper and later explains to another member of the Discord, I believe there has been a misconception here. As outlined in the white paper, Zoo was created to support CryptoZoo and was not intended to be an investment vehicle. When you sold or bought is not my decision. And look, to be fair to him, there was a misconception that Zoo was an investment vehicle, but it's a misconception that he created.
And he's also not wrong. You shouldn't have bought in the first place. Like, I don't know what drew you to it to begin with. You must really love a picture of eggs and a picture of some animals. Like, he is not wrong. He wasn't the one that forced you to buy in and waste 80,000 doubloons on it. But very douchey, considering you were the one that scammed him and got him to bite into it.
Based strictly on the value of said investment vehicle. Quote, rules for selling.
Market
selling
manipulation.
Until a $200 million market cap. So I think it's fair to say if Logan's own team were buying Zoo coins early, waiting for them to go up in value to a certain level and then selling them, that sounds like an investment vehicle, albeit a very stupid one. Be, quote, abandoned. Will everyone who minted be able to get that refund or just the current owners? Now, in reply to this, someone in the Discord said, if you sell, you lose common investing knowledge.
Or if you invest in CryptoZoo, you lose common sense knowledge. But I mean, again, that is a cold, hard fact that he just dropped onto the table. He slapped his meat down and said, if you bought into this, you sold, you lost. He is correct. But it is still, once again, Logan's fault because he peddled a non-functional scam that was abandoned for a fucking year and a half.
And Logan replies, seeming to agree with this idea. In another Discord exchange, Logan says, please do not put any more money into CryptoZoo, which, by the way, is quite reasonable to say.
Yeah,
but then somebody
true.
follows up and says, guys, can someone explain what he said with not investing? But rather than replying, oh, guys, I just meant like I don't want anyone else losing money, or, you know, I don't want anyone else recklessly gambling. Logan replies instead, quote, I will no longer be the scapegoat for anyone's financial decision.
Woe is me. Oh, man. I'm so tired of being the scapegoat for my scam. Damn. The Matrix is out to get me here, and I'm tired of it. No more of this. It's your fault that you fell for my scam. Idiots.
He doesn't seem to see anything wrong with advertising a game that will make you money, it never delivering, millions of dollars being stolen by criminals he hired. And then when all of those people want their money back, he feels like he's the scapegoat. Like, oh, these guys shouldn't have believed me when I advertised to them a fun game that will make you money.
True.
It just doesn't make any sense.
How could these fools have played into my trap when it was so obvious that it was a fake garbage scam to begin with? Why should I feel empathy for these plebeians? I hired 3 criminals to run this and they stole from me. I'm the victim, not these pores that put money into my shit. So why should I be bothered to help them? Fuck you guys.
I mean, Logan had a simple job to do. All he had to do was just come out, apologize, get as much money back for the victims as possible. But he himself can't help but play the victim here. In fact, I have a third example of how Logan might really feel, because Logan tweeted right before his response. He says,
That
quote,
shit was
"The
awesome.
Matrix is real. Pray you never become its target." Now, I guess he's trying to channel Andrew Tate here unsuccessfully, basically saying like,
Andrew Tate even fucking
I'm
dunked
getting
on him
attacked,
for it.
not because I did anything wrong or scammed anyone. I'm just too much of a truth teller. I'm just an enemy of the system. That's why I must
he
be getting
revealed too
attacked.
much.
But if that's the case, we then have to wonder, who's the Matrix though, Logan? Like, is it your fans who got robbed? Who are the agents coming after you? I know it's not me.
So I'll explain it. Logan, with his back against the wall, does what he does best. He tries to parrot literally anyone else's belief. All he did was grift into something that he thought might be able to earn him some points to get out of it, so he went with the Matrix angle because it's such a hot button thing with Tate and all that. What he failed to realize is that literally no one is on his side, so that became even more of a goofy, delusional attempt at saving face. The guy scammed, point blank, hired 3 criminals, which he himself admits, and he still had the gall, the chutzpah, to try the Matrix angle, which even summoned the Matrix man himself, Andrew Tate, to shit on him for it publicly, further burying Logan's head in his ass. It's such a poetic disaster of PR. He couldn't make a good move. I actually still do believe Logan Paul doesn't have any thoughts of his own. I don't actually think he believes anything in his own mind. He just tries to pander. And he chooses any position that is the easiest and most potentially safe position to take.
I didn't want to release it at the time because I thought there was a better chance at getting a good ending for the victims here if I was a bit more diplomatic with Logan at this critical juncture when he was deciding whether he was going to give money back or not.
At the end of the day, the whole purpose behind this entire thing was telling the victim's story, so anything that could result in them getting their money back is the optimal outcome. That'd be a mission accomplished.
Which, by the way, I think some of them are. In fact, I just saw a lawyer
Yep.
on YouTube, Attorney Tom. He's going to start the legal process going after Logan using stuff like the arbitration clause in their terms of service. So I just wanted to say, if you're a victim of CryptoZoo, it's your support that made all the difference and got the victims at least something. So that wraps it up. Thank you for watching.
Imagine Logan comes out and just like, you know what? Fuck you guys. You didn't suck my dick hard enough for my benevolent actions here. I am going to sue CoffeeZilla. Fuck you. I feel like it'll happen. It won't. He knows there's no shot he can do that. He would lose even more should he decide to, for some reason, reignite the lawsuit. Just a bullying tactic he never intended to sue. Well, the tactic isn't the threat of a lawsuit. The bullying tactic is when people like that have a lot of money, they can take it to the next step and cost you money to defend yourself. That's the bullying. It's financial bullying through the lawsuit. So him just saying, I'm going to sue you, well, it doesn't really do anything. Now you just look like a weak bitch. You didn't. The tactic that's been used by other YouTubers like BritBoy is, I'm suing you, and then you take it to the next level where you actually do start putting in the paperwork. So then it adds not only a financial burden with getting a lawyer to represent you, which costs money, it then takes a mental toll because of the stress of having to defend yourself legally against someone like that. So that's where the actual bullying is. Or BitBoy Crypto. Sorry, not BritBoy. my bad. That's where that comes in. Oh, Carl. Carl is another great example. Billy Mitchell going after Carl. That's another example of that same tactic that's being used. Yeah, Billy Mitchell is notorious for using that.